at KQED Public Radio. The time is 12:20.
This is Talk of the Nation from NPR News. I'm Rebecca Roberts. In the hours and days after Barack Obama's election, many hoped that things would be different, that Americans would move beyond the racial lines of the past. For the most part, that didn't happen. Randall Kennedy writes in his new book, "Everything about Obama is widely, insistently, almost unavoidably interpreted through the prism of race." Looking back over the past 2 years, tell us about a time when you experienced the color line or when you were surprised that you didn't. Tell us your story. The number is 800-989-8255, and our email address is talk@npr.org. My guest is Randall Kennedy, who joins us from Harvard University. And you have a chapter in the book that's called Addressing Race the Obama Way. It talks about the way the president himself talks about race. You examine his reaction to, for instance, the arrest of Henry Louis Gates. And it seems to be sort of a voice of compromise. How would you characterize the way the president talks about race?
Well, first of all, the president doesn't want to talk about race. Now, some people say that, and they say it, in a condemning way. I don't. The race question is, it's not a good issue for him. And recognizing that it's not a good issue, he tries to distance himself from it. Sometimes he discusses race, if he really has to. But by and large, he keeps away from it. And in fact, if there was one single thing that I think is the best evidence of the centrality of the color line, it's the fact that the most powerful person in the United States, indeed the most powerful single person in the world, has to tippy-toe around the race question. And it's volatile. It's not a good issue for him. He stays away from it as much as he can.
We have an email from Dan in Tulsa who says, "There's a very sinister idea floating around and voiced particularly by many of the current Republican candidates that America gave Obama this chance. It's an age-old attempt to undermine the hard work he did and the achievement he accomplished as America's first African-American president. To be clear, he earned his place in the Oval Office. Race is most definitely not passed away in today's politics. I believe it will be at least another 2 African-American presidents before we can say America is post-racial." Do you see, without necessarily naming